welcome back to Musings by Nikki. I am back to do something a little bit different today. I thought let's make some tassels for our Wildflower journals. A while back before, all my life stuff happened and all the things. If you want to know where I've been, I just recently did a catch-up video where I kind of told you about where I've been in life. But I bought this bundle, so this bundle of stuff, this long piece here, I bought this at Hobby Lobby one day thinking, oh, this would go good in the Wildflower journal. And at that point, I was just starting on the kit. I hadn't even finished it, but I must have just been working on it and saw this and thought, yep, that would be so cute, because I thoroughly intended to make it into a book. So here I am finally getting around to doing that. So I thought I pulled out a few of the types of sari silks that we used, or that I used to make tabs. Tabs on the edges of the Wildflower journal. This is my 5 signature journal. I just finished decorating these signatures today. I've got all the ephemera and stuff ready to go to decorate the other 3 single signature journals, so I'll probably do that on camera with you tomorrow or the next day, whenever I get a chance to. But I took some of these colored sari silks and put them in here as well. And as just a reminder, I have these 2 pieces. I've got one smaller piece. This is probably enough for maybe 2 journal covers if I'm really careful. But it's this gorgeous like chartreuse velvet. And then I've got a whole bunch of this pink velvet. So, I mean, if you look at kind of this combination of stuff, how cute, right? And then we go with the, we go with the signatures. Yeah, oh man, it's just going to be so bright and cheerful and happy, happy, happy. And potentially even this, I showed you guys this, like flip book that I made where it's got the holes. Anyway, that potentially even on the cover of one of the pink journals or something. I just think with all of this, how fun. Let me know if you guys want to see a video on actually making one of these. It's not my idea. Natasha at Treasure Books did it, and I just watched her video and got inspired. So let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in me doing, a video on how I made that. Otherwise, I'm more than happy to refer you to her video as well. So I also pulled out a few fibers that I have in my stash that I thought would go with the kit. And I just think let's make some tassels. I believe that these are all roughly the same length. And I think I've used these in the past. Let's just pull out one piece here. I've used these bundles in the past for things. And I think if I cut them each piece in half, then it would be long enough to make like a sufficiently long tassel. So what I'm going to do is cut each of these pieces in half. So let me see if I still have let me see, where's the tag? Anyway, you get them in a little bundle. In Hobby Lobby you can get them. You can get them on their website too. And they're over by like the ribbons and trims. So there's different colors and versions of this. But what I'm going to do is cut all of these in half and see. Usually there's 2 of each. So that makes 4. We have 4 books, so 4 tassels. So that is perfect. So I'm going to fast forward through this because there's really no reason for you to watch me cut a whole bunch of stuff in half. So I'll fast forward through this and I will see you in a sec. got like 4 piles just draped over my legs. But I've got each one cut down, so now we've got this kind of nice little bundle for each one, and that'll eventually become the tassel. But I thought, let's throw a little extra because, you know, I just want to do extra and make these fluffy, fluffy bundles. I can't decide about this pink. It's sparkly. See, can the camera, is the camera catching that? I don't know. The jury's out on that piece. It feels, this one has a little glitter on the edge. This blue does. But that feels nice. Like, that's a nice little hint of shimmer. Whereas this just feels like Bazinga pink. I don't know. Jury's out. We'll decide later. But that said, I'm going to grab one piece of one thing here. And what I'm going to do is take some washi and just put a little mark, because every time I try to just measure something against a piece like this, it slides and it ends up getting longer and shorter, and you know, then nothing looks right and I'm wasting fabric and material. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't mind wasting, like, you know, wasting 2 pieces of washi. So now I've got my, like, and I know you can't see, it's like right there. So you can see this one. So I've got my 2 pieces of washi measuring how long this piece is. And that way I can take some of these fantastic fibers and make a couple pieces for each one. This is this really pretty sparkly, it's almost like this pretty fairy eyelash yarn. So I'm going to do a piece for each one of this. And see, now I can just measure out according to my piece of washi. And I should get pieces that are the same. There you go. That was my daughter just came home from work. Joy, my younger daughter, just came home from work. She said, as I was telling her about what I had made for supper and how to go put hers together, I made these delicious, we love Reubens in this house, but you know, you can't really do a Reuben when you're vegan. Well, you can. It just doesn't look like what you would normally think of as a Reuben because you don't get the cheese or the wonderful corned beef. But I did use some really good sprouted grain bread, and this is like super long, extra long eyelash in this pretty kind of lilac color. So this goes perfectly. Anyway, I used sprouted grain bread, veggie burgers. I make my own sauerkraut. We love sauerkraut. I know it is an acquired taste. I make my own kimchi and sauerkraut. And I started doing sourdough starter again because fermented stuff is so dang good for your gut, you know? So homemade sauerkraut. I had a batch that I literally just finished fermenting today. So it's fresh sauerkraut. Well, I don't know. Do you call sauerkraut fresh? It's been sitting on the counter for like 3.5 weeks. It's not really fresh, but that's the point of fermenting, is that it's not fresh. You do what you do to it so it becomes not fresh. Anyway, I put fresh sauerkraut and this bread and this homemade vegan Thousand Island dressing and some pickles and some lettuce, and man, oh man, that was some good satisfying stuff. And it definitely was not a Reuben, right? But for being a vegan option, it was pretty tasty, I tell you what. My husband probably wouldn't think so. I didn't even bother making him one. I'm still trying to get him on the fermented stuff bandwagon. He eats it and he likes it sometimes. I think it's such an acquired taste, you know. I grew up my grandfather on my mom's side, my mom's dad, is like 100% German. And so, and her mom is 100% Irish. So we grew up with a lot of traditional German and Irish foods, and sauerkraut was just one of those. So I grew up eating it, so for me it's nothing new. I also thought maybe I would, let's take a look. Oh my gosh, my shirt, look at this, my shirt is covered in fur, for little hairs. Okay, let's take a look and see. Do we think, oh shoot, I hate when I do that. There. Yeah, because you know what? I think this will tone it. Right now it's looking a little too like fairy-like. So putting a few of these things in there. I need to look and, oh, I do have a little bit of green left. Okay, I think I'm going to put some pieces of sari in there too. I really don't care if it gets like super huge and bulky. I just want it to, you know, I want it to go with the book. I don't know if I've got enough of that chartreuse. We'll see how far I can get with that. Otherwise, I'll have to look in my stash and see if I've got more, more green of some sort. Because there's really no green in this. Otherwise, it's starting to look a little too much like a, you know, fairy journal, and that's definitely not what we're going for here. My wildflowers have finally started to bloom. This blue is really full of strings. It's very stringy. My wildflowers, I've had a few little bachelor's buttons pop up. The deer, I don't know if I said this in my last video, but the pesky deer around here have eaten down all of my sunflowers. They must particularly like sunflowers. My mom's got, I think I did tell you this, my mom's had to put bird netting all over her raised beds because the deer in town have just become a dang nuisance. They're naughty. This is why I haven't tried putting, I really want to have like some apple trees and blueberry and raspberry bushes in our yard, but I don't think it's worth it. A, we've got bears living in the woods behind us, and they would definitely mess with blueberry bushes. I mean, who could blame them? Yummy. But the deer will mess with apple trees. I don't know. Okay. Hope you guys are doing good today. I was over to the, oh, look at that. It's just about an inch shy, but it's going in. That's perfect. Then it's an empty thing. Now, this is not enough. Huh. Let me, you know, I've got this too. It's one of those feather, do you guys remember when all the knitting with all these things was this the rage? And we had, this is called feather boa yarn. I can't even tell where the start or the finish is to this thing. But that might add some green into this. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I'm not going to make you, let me just see if I can find the start. I'm not trying to pull this thing. I feel like if I start pulling it apart, it's going to turn into an even bigger knot. There we go. I found one end. Okay. Maybe I'll put, you know what, let's try and see what one piece of this looks like. It's got like chartreuse and teals. I think I'm gonna do 2 pieces of that into each one of these, because honestly, when am I gonna use this again anyway? And it really is bringing some of that green and blue into the mix. Oh my gosh, it's like the little fuzzies are going into my nose. Also, my sinuses have been awful because there is some sort of tree or something that's blooming, and we keep getting all this smoke. I live so close to the Canadian border that, you know, if you've been hearing about the wildfires in Ontario and that smoke is coming down and continues to come down right over us. Here in northern Minnesota, we have had some very cloudy looking smoky skies. It's been a little better, but a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, just last week, I'm going to need to just deal with this later. Last week, it was so bad that, I mean, you could smell it in the sky. You could smell it in the air. Okay. Let's get rid of some of that. Okay. All right. I'm pleased with that. Now, you know, because I haven't been super careful about how I've been laying this down, I need to kind of straighten it out. So I'm going to try and lay these all, and you know what? I'm going to put one of these later on in the bundle. You never can really tell exactly how it's going to play out. But I am going to just go through here and this one got in the wrong pile. Go through and lay all of these pieces out so they can be, whoa, this one's super curly. That one maybe needs to go like under or something. So, I mean, I don't mind that it curls up, but I want it to lay nice for now. This one's pretty. It looks, this one reminds me of like something for Cinderella. It's this light pale blue with some gold. It reminds me of like Cinderella. All right. I'm going to keep laying these out. Hold on just a second. Yeah, Joy. All right. Sorry about that. Joy had a question about her sandwich. Oh, it's starting to rain a little bit. We've had so much rain these last couple of days, which is so awesome. The farmers really needed it. All right. This is, whoops. Almost all the pieces here. And then I gotta make the judgment call on this pink, shiny pink. Oh, and then one more piece of this. I'm gonna just not. I'm gonna set it aside for another project because it's just too va-va-voom for me. It's too super sparkly and very Barbie pink. Although this I do like, and that's going to go, though, on the bottom. Because I want it to kind of be, I want all this stuff to be on the outside, and that to be on the inside. And then I did bring out this pink ribbon, which is also very bright Barbie pink. Or I do have this pink ribbon, or this wider pink ribbon, to be the piece that goes around once we fold it in half and go around. And I've got my glue gun, so I've got to actually plug this in. All right, because I didn't know if you know this, hot tip, hot glue guns don't work unless you plug them in. You heard it here first. Just kidding. I know you're all smart enough to know that. So we're going to, I've got this little piece. This is just what was tying that bundle together. And so I'm actually going to use that to tie the middle of this together. And this won't stay on. It's just my piece, my working piece. So I want to fold it in half. This piece seems a little long, so I'm going to see if I can find the other side of it. There we go. But it looks like it's just about right in half. You can leave the ends a little bit uneven, or if you want to, you can always at the end, you know, get everything down and then give it a nice firm chomp. It's kind of up to you. However, I am going to tie this right now just in one simple, just the first little knot there, and I'm doing it really loosely. And that's just so I have my middle point, and because I'm gonna need to go around with my ribbon piece here and glue it on with the hot glue once this gets hot. So now I've got to decide, do I want a nice wide piece here? So we're just going to audition some ideas here. Do I want it to look like that? That might be a little too wide. Or do I want to do a skinnier ribbon like that? I kind of like that one. Or do I want to go totally different color and go yellow? No, I like the pink. Or do I want to do a bright pink? See, that starts to, woo, it got a little windy. I might have to close my window. That starts to look to me, again, a little too like Barbie pink. So I think this one is going to be the winner. And I'm going to cut myself, let's see, I need 4 pieces of it, even though I'm not sure if I'll use this for each one. I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces. Okay. So once my hot glue gun, so now I just want to make sure once my hot glue gun is warm, I can glue this thing together. This little curly ribbon, I just want to make sure it's not going to get caught up in here any weird way. And I want to just kind of make sure that all of these pieces are laying down nice. Because eventually what I will decide is where this goes. You're not really going to be able to tell right now that there's this loop here, but eventually I will put either something else so that I can tie it onto the book, or tie it onto a, you know, that it might be smart to just do this now. Because this isn't like this is so fluffy. I'm not going to be able to find my way back through it. So you know what? I wonder if I'm going to just need to do this in a more permanent manner, I think. And that way I at least have the middle loop established. Okay, let's see if this glue gun looks like it might be getting ready here. I need a scrap of paper out of my garbage. Hold on. Okay, let's see if that's, yeah, it's just about ready. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a little dab of glue. Well, first you want to decide how far down do you want to go. I think I'm going to leave about 1.5 inches of fluff at the top. That looks like a good ratio to me. I don't want to go too low because then the loop part looks a little strange. So I think I'm going to start right about there. So I'm going to give myself a little spot where I can attach my ribbon to, because you want this part to be tight. If it's loosey-goosey, it looks weird, in my opinion. Now, you don't have to do it my way. This is just how I do my tassels. So now that I've got that started, I'm going to make sure that my stuff is pulled tight there. And I'm going to roll it over, and I'm going to give, trying to hold it tight here, I'm going to give it one dab of glue here. And you won't really see this through because I've got enough ribbon here that I'm going to wrap it multiple times. So this is just to get that first wrap kind of nice and secure. And then I'm going to hold it for a sec. There we go. And I'm going to come around, and then what I like to do on the back is fold this last piece of ribbon over. So I like to fold it over and just give it like a finger press. Let me show you what I'm doing up close here. So I'm taking this last little part of the ribbon, folding it over, and that way when I glue it down, it'll give me a nice kind of finished edge there. So I'm going to pull it around and figure out right about where it goes. And lay it down. And then I'll show you. It's the nice thing about hot glue, and that's why I use hot glue over Fabri-Tac or something for this, is because it dries so fast. So then you end up with this nice little finished edge here on your tassel. So we've got one tassel established. Now let's talk other things you can add into this. You can certainly add a little button on here. That would look really cute. I was just noticing I've got some little pieces of lace. You could certainly, if you were doing this for like a, you know, more Victorian or something or whatever. I mean, I've got a little bit of lacy stuff in there. You could add lace to it. You could add a little charm here. You can also add, so you can add a couple of strings into your tassel bundle as you're making your tassels, and then slide beads or charms on there. I'd certainly do that a lot. Although in this particular case, I just kind of wanted to make a fluffy tassel. And then at some point when I've got the books actually made, we'll look at how we're going to attach them. Usually I do like a bulldog clip so that you can take it on and off or swing it out of the way when you're going to use it, and then, you know, swing it back down onto your journal. But I just thought, let's make some tassels today. Let's make some, you know, celebrate me finishing the first, decorating the first set of signatures, which you didn't see me do, but let's celebrate that by making some tassels, because now I start feeling, this is the part of my process where I start feeling like, ooh, I'm getting closer to being able to make some covers and bind things. So let's just look. I mean, cute, right? With this thing covered in, oh, these are going to be so, they're so dang cheerful. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a short little time today and listening to me chatter. And let's made some tassels. And so I will see you back again in the next couple of days to decorate this, you know, the signature journals. Oops, I'm throwing my glue gun around. I got to finish my other ones. yeah, we'll walk through how I kind of just decorate them. And then after that, it'll be on to making some covers, and then we'll be almost ready to finish that up. So I hope that you guys are having a wonderful morning or afternoon or evening, or maybe it's the middle of the night when you're watching this, whatever side of this planet that you're on. I hope that you are enjoying it, and I hope that you are safe and healthy. I hope that you are well and happy. And until I see you guys next time, take care, stay safe, and God bless you. Bye-bye.